Hey guys.
Hello.
Welcome back to our podcast, the Friendship Chemistry Podcast, where we talk all things life, love, and the pursuit of happiness, I guess.
Yes. We just want to give a huge shout out to everyone watching. Thank you for joining us today. Got lots planned for you and great discussions coming your way.
Yes, and the first thing we're going to do is honestly just catch up because it's been so long since we got together with all of you and really just gave you an update. First and foremost, we apologize for taking such a long break. That was never our intention, but as you guys know, life happens and sometimes you got to make it work. So Jessica, how have you been since the first time we filmed?
So a little check-in with me. A lot has happened. It's only been like a month, I think, since we last recorded, and I got an apartment. So we're in a different location. I just want to say I'm blessed. I feel really grateful for the opportunity. And what else has changed? Just my job has been going really well.
I was gonna say you got a dog, but they sound
the first one. It was in episode 1. But yeah.
And at that point, you had just gotten he wasn't. You didn't even have him for like a week.
No, it was literally that week we recorded, and he was in my house. But now, things are just changing. I would say personally and professionally, like just really getting into the groove of things, and I'm just feeling more comfort, like that things that I want are actually happening. So yeah, that's kind of just been my, my catch up.
What are you most excited for in your new place? Like, by the way, we're filming in her new place, so this is probably gonna be the new setup, the new what you.
I'm gonna have more like decorations. Obviously, there's white walls everywhere, but I'm gonna start decorating, get things pretty and cute. But wait, what did you ask? What was it?
What are you looking forward to the most in your new place?
Yeah, so for me, I'm just looking forward to just like seeing things evolve. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like right now I'm on a plastic table. I got no couch. Like, I'm just excited to see it like really come together and for me to really feel like this is home. Because like it takes time to feel that way. After 25 years of me living in my house, like that was home for me. So I would say knowing that this is my spot, my place, my element, and then just adapting into it. So yeah, what about you?
That's good. For me, I got a new job. For those of you who know, for those of you who don't, I started working mid-November as a marketing coordinator. I mentioned it the last one because I think in the last one it was relatively new still. It's still a new job. I've only been there for like 10 weeks, but I got a random call on a Saturday and she had asked me like, hey Ty, it was somebody I had applied to a job for back in September, October, and I didn't get the job, but they had told me that they wanted to keep in contact so that fast forward, it's January, we have not kept in contact, I have not spoken to them. I get a random call on a Saturday, and she's super excited about the opportunity. She said they got more clients and they would love to take me on. I am completely caught off guard. I'm just coming off of having COVID. I'm okay, my life is gonna get back to normal. Everything's gonna start getting back after COVID. No, mind you guys, I got COVID the first week of...
Forgot to mention that.
Yeah, the first week of January, I had COVID for 10 days. So actually, that's why we didn't film when we were supposed to. And then Jessica moves, and so life happens. It really does. But fast forward, I have a completely new job now. I'm full-time. I'm excited for this opportunity. I have all the benefits I need, and I really feel like God is looking out for me because these are all things that I started to worry about, but then I realized that life is going to happen the way it's supposed to, and I can't really worry about certain things, so I knew, and it just happens like that. So it's really just been a blessing, I feel like, for both of us to be in the positions we are now and to have what we have. And so we're not only just excited for our futures, we're excited for our future with you guys as subscribers, as followers, as friends, as family, as people that care about us, to really just learn with us, grow with us, go through situations with us, help us. We want to help you. We want you to help us. So we're really excited for this platform and what is in store for it. So yeah.
I think it's a really good thing to just know and have peace with where you are, even though there's a lot of things that you don't know. Life is just so unpredictable. So it's
you took your boot and
honestly during this whole time I was trying not to laugh.
All I see is the boot like go from the door to like a demon like pulled a boot from right. She's like,
no, but Ty, when you were talking the whole time, Luca was literally like eating my toe and like
my
grabbing my
gosh.
stuff at the bottom of my foot, and I was trying to maintain like my composure, but anyway,
we're trying to be professional, and the dog is just throwing us off.
He's going crazy.
Crazy.
Anyway, but yeah, like I said, life is unpredictable. You never know what's gonna happen, even tomorrow. Like, so as much as you think you have control and you know what's gonna happen, you don't. And so I think this is kind of where it's like, this is perfect to just like kind of let everyone know like where we're coming from, our past experience, and like what our future we aspire to be. So I think it's really exciting too as well. And we've always had the podcast in the back of our minds, I think, throughout everything. Like, hey, like we really need to get back to recording. We really need to like, don't let us, I feel like both of us don't want to like get distracted to the point where we forget about the podcast. You know what I'm saying?
It's important to us. It's always been important to us. I think what separates us from other podcasters so that we really are like real life friends. Their friendship is real and these conversations are real.
It's just basic. It's normal. Like nothing like and
I think that adult friendships can be hard, and it can be hard to find people who think similar to you and have similar viewpoints. But you know, it's also good to have people that have different viewpoints. But I think that when it comes to having good people in your corner who support you, that's what we have, and so we really want to be able to portray that on here with you guys. So we're looking forward to it, and so that's enough for the update. We're gonna start getting into it now.
Okay, got it. All right. Hi guys, so today we're going to be talking about toxicity and how you see it and view it in other people, how it's come up in our life circumstances, our experiences, how to not only just be aware of it, avoid it, but also just know how to decline that kind of negative energy and to know that you're worth. It's very much so you're valuable, and anyone who presents themselves in certain ways, you don't need to entertain that. So we're just gonna get started and talk about kind of just our experience and what we've been through, what we've seen, just to help you guys out. So Ty, do you want to share kind of your experience, or what you would say like has been kind of, I don't know, a negative / like red flag for you in the past?
So like when I think of toxicity, first thing that comes to mind is like dating. For me, I date men. I don't know, whatever, everybody has their preferences. I date men, and so for me, when I think of like a toxic situation, I automatically think of people who have tried to talk to me, people I've entertained, me being in like certain places in my life where I'm more accepting of toxic behaviors for various reasons, whether I don't recognize them as toxic, or like I'm just in a different place where I felt like this is what I deserved and stuff, and I couldn't see beyond that situation. I think for the most part, one thing I will say is I've been able to get out of toxic situations. I've never been stuck in one for a very long time because of whatever reason. I've always taken myself out, whether it took me like a month, whether it took me 3 months, I've gotten out. But for me, I would say one of my like red flags, or one thing that I recognize as toxic, would be somebody who has a fetish of like black women. So I've talked to guys before on like dating apps who have kind of been like weird, like, have you ever like talked to a white guy before? Like I mean, I guess that question is not weird. I guess that's a normal thing to ask if you're dating somebody who's outside of your race. But like there's certain people that like really make it like are you gonna be sassy to me, or like you're gonna like, it's turning me on because you're being sassy, or like, and for me, like that's not a compliment necessarily. That's you like trying to be like, this is what I really like, and like, you're gonna like, I don't know. So I don't know if you've experienced that. Maybe it's just me.
For me,
I feel like there are people who are like turned on by sass. Like they're like, like she's gonna, and like they're like, have you ever talked to someone that provokes your sass in a way?
Yes.
And
they
then
try
they
to get a reaction.
And they get like weirdly turned on by that, and I'm like pissed, and they're like, oh yeah, like it's like that's weird. Like that is not normal. Like
for me, I would say a red flag that I have experienced, and everyone's different. So this is all like, you know, through our own lens, our personal like views. But when a guy has been like, oh, I like roasting. Like, I just like roasting each other in a relationship. Like, kind of making fun. But to the point where it's like, where are you really getting at? Do you know what I'm saying? Like, I get it. Like, you're goofing around, whatever. Everyone has different, like, forms of sarcasm in the way that they, like, joke. But when you're roasting, I feel like, in a way, it's like, all right, now you're really, like, offending me. Damn. You're coming at my outfit. You're coming at, like, my boots. Like, you're coming at, you know what I mean? The way I look, it's just like, why are you making me... It's like, it's an insecurity that I start to feel. Okay. Like, oh, does he really not like the way I dress? Or is he really making fun of, like, the length of my boots? Or, like, how I look? And it's like, you should be, first thing, complimenting, not roasting. Like, I just feel like it's really hard because some men are really immature, and it doesn't take long for me to notice that they're a 30-year-old or whatever, 20-something-year-old person, but they're really presenting them like at themselves to me as like a 10-year-old, a 15-year-old, and it's super unattractive when someone doesn't know how to treat somebody or talk to them, especially in the beginning. Yeah. Like, why get comfortable so soon?
That's hard for me because I feel like I always grew up as, like, a roaster. Yeah. So, like, I can relate to that. Like, but it just goes to show everybody has different red flags. But, like, I think that some people maybe don't mean harm by it, because like I've always been kind of that person that's like, Ty, like you're taking it too far, like that was offensive, and I was like, but I was just joking, like, like, but no, like you have every right to feel how you feel about certain things. It's just not for you. It's not
I guess that's what it is. It's like some things are just not for that person, and I feel like that's why another like red flag for me is when your morals and your values do not align. Like it's dependent on how
with yours.
Yes, with the person. Yeah, like with mine, or like however you view life. I think it's really great, especially if you're looking for a relationship and not just a hookup, because we're talking about like a relationship, right? So in a relationship, you want to find someone who isn't going to be completely 100% the opposite of how you view and think things. Because I do think that, negatives, like positive and a negative, like, what is it? Both negatives attract. Honestly, I wasn't good in like chemistry or like physics, but anyway. I think it's negative.
I think it's positive.
No, but
right?
Positive.
Like
opposites attract. Oh my god, that's
positive and negative.
All right, they say opposites attract. I do not agree with that. I think when you're both aligned and you both like are on the same path. And
that's weird as hell. Like you like anime, I like reality TV. Like we're gonna like be aligned. No.
Meanwhile, you like aggressive woman. I like passive people. I don't know. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's just like, how
you should find somebody that's on the same page as you, because that's like, you're just gonna flow better.
What I can see is like how opposites attract. Like, oh, I'm a coffee person. Oh, I'm a tea person. I'm a wine drinker. You know,
it's not really opposite. That doesn't matter.
I feel like it's in routine. It's opposite. Like, if you were to think about it, it's like in the morning you have your routine of like reading a book. The other person has a routine of like working out and like.
That's not really opposite though, because I feel like when you think of opposite, like I feel like it has to be very different. Like your lifestyles have to separate you. Like, you're drinking coffee and I'm drinking tea. How the freak does that? Like we're gonna drink the different things at the same time in the morning. But like
you're never gonna be with us. Like
if we're opposite, then it's like an like I'm thinking of something extreme. Like I don't even know like.
Like, you like country music and I like rap.
Not even. Like, you like to travel. Like, that's a huge part of your life. And I'm a homebody. How the freak are we going to, like, live our life?
Right.
Because I'm going to hate every trip we go on. And you're going, like, that's what I feel like. Those are things that I feel like are bigger. But, like, I guess.
Oh, my God. Another one is, like, if you're huge into the environment and, like, recycling. That's, like, I've noticed. Okay.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
Not the recycle. But like, not that you shouldn't recycle, but what the freak is gonna not like me?
I'm not talking about like tree huggers or like people who
like movements. a movement where I tie myself to
I'm
a
talking
tree.
about like you know when you're like chewing gum and you have like the wrapper and you like throw it out into the
It's
highway.
biodegradable. People love saying that. I remember like
I can't.
you take a banana peel and you just throw it and be like it's biodegradable,
But,
and it takes like 1,000 years for that junk to degrade, like low key and like.
But I've honestly had arguments over this, so I don't even want to talk about it. But like, I guess that's a different story.
It's a sore spot.
Anyway, everyone has their like places that they're sensitive in or topics, but yeah. Back to red flags.
Let me think of another red flag for me. It's so hard because I feel like everybody's different, like as a part, like obviously, but like in the sense that my red flags are not so like standardized, like they're really just dependent on the person. What is a red flag for me?
Another red
When
flag.
they go barks.
I'm gonna say this right now. The way the man treats their mother or their family members, for me, that's a red flag. And I say this because I know he bites. He really does.
Okay. The way he treats his mother.
The way he treats his mother. That's a big red flag if like you disrespect your mother, you're cursing at your mother. You guys have that sort of relationship, because that's gonna be an indicator of how the man treats you. So family for me is super important. The way the person treats their family members or just the dynamics is huge. So
he's looking at my boobs, but it's fine.
He does that.
I'm sorry. I'm so disruptive.
But yeah, so I would say that's another red flag. There's so many.
Yeah, there are a lot. It's really hard to think when you're put on the spot.
There's a lot.
But I'm trying to think. I guess for me, a red flag is lack of consistency, because especially if you've already let me know that you want to be with me, because I feel like it's just natural. Like if you want to be with me, then you're gonna show me, and I feel like if your actions aren't matching your words, like that's a red flag, because if you're not doing that now and all I'm asking for you is to talk to me, when it really comes to like being with you and or you being with me, you're not going to be able to do the things you say. And so
consistency is huge.
It really is.
I think like everyone always wants to sweet talk or say things and like, I don't know, create this perfect image and picture for you because they want to get you or they want to impress you. But I'm just like, all right, let them talk, let them sweet talk. But once I really start to see the actions and like in person, the behaviors, then I'll believe you. Because the thing is this, I don't trust easily. And it's really hard for me to trust people, not just in relationships, but like just friendships, because it's like, I always find that people present themselves one way and they really are another way. Maybe it's because what I've seen, but I really think it's important to give time to the fact of like, you know, whatever you end up being, just give it time.
Right.
Be patient.
I heard a fact one time that you don't really know somebody until 6 months of knowing them. Like you can't know somebody within 1 month, 2 months. Like you really get to know, because
6 months.
Think about it. Like you go through different emotions within a 6 month period. Somebody will have seen you at your highs,
and your lows.
And so you can't really say you know somebody if you've never seen them upset, or like you never like, I want to know somebody in all seasons of life, not just their happy ones or the ones they portray to me. So
let's just talk about love bombing, because this is something that I wanted to talk about from previous times and just make it like more aware to people. I find it a big red flag when a man is love bombing. And what I mean by that is like they're going out of their way just to impress you at such an early stage of like you guys courting or talking. And like obviously you disagree in some ways, and I get that, but the reason why I say it's a red flag personally for me is because I didn't do anything to earn that. So it's like, are you trying to persuade me? Are you trying to manipulate me to like you because you're showering me with all these gifts or telling me that you're gonna promise me the world just to get with me, when really I think that once again it takes time. Like I'm all about like taking things slow, because if it's meant to be, it's gonna be. And so I find it very I don't know, like much of a turn off when a man's going too much out of their way to impress a girl, because I really feel like the intention is just to get her, but not in the best way possible. Like their intentions aren't like the best in that way. So, for example, like flowers or gifts or just like too much too soon, you know, telling you like you're their world, like there's no one like you, you're perfect. Like, you don't know me enough to even tell me that. You don't know me. That's the biggest thing is some people create this image of somebody and they picture things of them, but that's not really who they truly are sometimes. It's just who they're presenting themselves to, like how they want other people to perceive them as.
Right. Yeah.
So
I think it always feels better when you're loved for you and you don't have to feel like why does this person love me? Like, what is their intention behind it? And you can just really accept
it's natural.
it. Yeah.
It's natural.
Yeah. I think that sometimes people who love bomb, I don't think they know that they're doing it. I think they think they're being sweet, or they even might truly feel like they've never met anybody as like great as you. But I think that they have to be aware enough to know like, when is it appropriate to like say certain things? When is like, you know, because those things matter too. Like having self-control, being able to, like, you can feel like, just because you feel like, you might truly feel like I've never met somebody like this, but that doesn't mean you have to say it, because I think any sane person can say like, it's too soon, like it's not the right situation to say that yet. And so I think that having that kind of regulator within yourself is important. To know when and when not to say things, and when to act on emotions and when not to.
There's a time and place for everything, and like I also have noticed being in a toxic relationship myself. I don't want to label it as that, but there was a lot of toxicity in that past relationship. Not all of it was toxic, but I would have to say is an insecure man is a red flag, because you don't want a man to bring you down in any way, because they're gonna find ways to trigger you or say things to bring you down just to make themselves feel better about themselves. And I feel like that's the worst kind of relationship, because it's like sometimes you get so used to it, it blends in, you don't even know. Right. Like the way they talk to you, the way they disrespect you, the way, like, listen, if you guys curse at each other, you guys curse, but the way you fight, it needs to be healthy. And the second things start getting like, you start making excuses like, oh, like it's just how they are, that's when you know you're in it and you don't know how to, you got to get out of it. Right. Because then you start like thinking it's normal, when you really should be thinking about, okay, how is this making me feel? If this is something that's really alarming, why haven't I been paying attention to it from the early stages? Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think sometimes, well, not sometimes, like we're always growing, we're always evolving. So the person you are at the beginning of the relationship is not going to be the person you are like by the end of it, the middle of it. So I think maybe sometimes the things you were allowing at the beginning is just because you weren't in a place to recognize those and to really do better. But I think that hindsight is always 20/20. So mostly everybody can look back on relationships at an older age and say like, wow, like I was in a situation that wasn't great for me. And I think that the point of those is to really just learn to do better, and to hopefully put yourself in better positions with the future people. But all things have their place. Everything happens for a reason. And the biggest thing is just to learn from it so that you can move forward and get better for yourself and for your life. And
I think it's really like, if we're going to talk about green flags and something that I really love seeing in people. So I would say green flag for me would be a man who talks positively about the past and his experience. Like doesn't like shit talk or like talk negatively about the ex, and like has like this kind of like, I don't know, feeling like, oh, they're not over it, but like overall, like, hey, it was what it was. I learned what I learned, and I'm grateful for their experience. Like moving forward to finding something better. Right. I think that's really good, because that shows like you've healed, and you're not over here hating somebody, because that's gonna weigh on you. Right. And that's gonna carry over to your next relationship if you're over here hating like your ex. Right. You know. So. Yeah, I would say that's definitely something that's a green flag for me.
Let's see, what's a green flag for me? I guess going back, I don't want to like kind of repeat what I said and just make it opposite. So let me think of something else. Maybe somebody who genuinely shows that they care for my well-being, and it's like selfless. So I guess checking in, like following up with things that I said, like in a conversation, like things that weren't like huge topics, but like
they listen.
Yeah, like if I say something about like, oh, this is gonna be a busy week for me because my son has a game on Sunday, and like they're like, oh, how did your son's game go on Sunday? Like for me, it's like, oh, like you care, B, you remembered, and it's not even something that was talked about heavily. So just like looking for those little things to show me that like you care about like how my life is going, and it's not selfish. It's not like when can I see you, or when can you, like it's not, has nothing to do with me and you and what we're trying to do, but like just me in general. I had a man one time, it was actually really sweet. I had a man drive. What did he do? He helped me. I had left my keys in my friend's car, and my friend went home. And so my friend, he had drove me to her house to get my keys. Her phone also died, so she did not know that she had my keys. So I couldn't even contact her. So he drove me to her house. I was able to get my keys, and he drove me back to my car. And then I also needed gas, and I was a broke person. I'm broke off. Let me not say that. I'm not broke off anymore. But like I was broke because college student. It is what it is. And he gave me money. He was like, oh, like, do you need money for gas? And I was like, yeah, like I have like no gas left in my car really, and I don't have the money to really get it. And so he went in his pocket, he pulled out some bills, and he's like, here you go. And then he went back in his pocket, took out the whole wad, and he's like, you know what, here, and like he gave me the whole wad of cash. Oh wow. Then he was like, I was in an area I wasn't familiar with, so he led me to the gas station. He drove in front of me, and then he pumped my gas for me. Oh my god! When I got to the gas station.
What happened to this man?
We're friends. We're friends. I thought I had a crush on him for a while after that, because I was like, nobody's ever done that for me. Like that was so sweet, but. It's okay. Sweet acts can be sweet acts. Like, you don't have to have a crush on the person. Like, it's okay.
It could have been just...
It's okay to not have, like, somebody who does something nice for you. I'm a simp, so that's my life. But,
you know, that's really interesting. Sweet. That's... I think, like, what you're saying, like, selfless acts, right? Like...
Yeah, when you had nothing to gain from that.
Right. When a person's doing something just to... Out of the kindness of their heart, it really goes to show, one, they're not a narcissist. They're, two, not just being greedy and, like... selfish with getting what they want, but like they genuinely care for you. And so I think that too, a message for the men out there is it's the little things, and I feel like they don't understand that in many ways, but it's like doing things that are just pumping your gas or opening the door, or you know, just like calling instead of texting,
just even going above and beyond, because I think as women sometimes, like the way the dating world is now, like we will be so happy with the smallest things because people are so often doing the bare minimum, and they do it because they get away with it. So they know that if you don't accept it as a woman, I can just go to a woman who will, and so they don't feel like they have to. But there are those men out there, those real men who are raised right, who really do have strong values and strong respect for women, and they will go above and beyond for you. They will make sure you're good in a different way. It's different.
It's the traditional for me.
It's the traditional for me.
It's the traditional for me where a man knows he's the man, and like not to say like, you know, everyone can like bend and flex and like switch roles here and there, but overall I think what works best is like a man who's confident, know his ways, but like respects the woman over everything. And it's really hard to find like a man who is willing to do all of those to impress the girl, to show her.
When you say like traditional, so when do you want traditional household? Like, do you want that like he works, I guess you work if you want to, but then like you cook dinner, you wash the laundry, or like how does that look?
So when I say traditional, I don't necessarily mean like I'm trying to be a housewife and he's like the man and like he like just goes and works and I'm just home with the kids. traditional in some ways where it's like the man's opening the door. The man's going out of his way to impress the girl in the beginning and like do things like to kind of just properly court a female, you know, like to be a man, to step up and to be like, I'm gonna ask her out, like, or I'm gonna, you know, I'm gonna make the plans and impress her.
Mm-hmm.
Like those kind of traditional
Right.
ways, not necessarily like the housing
Right.
situation. Because I just think that a lot of men are scared that females are going to reject them. And I feel like that's just a small percentage maybe that would reject them. But overall, any female I think would be really appreciative and really grateful for a man to just come up and be like, you're beautiful.
Right.
Like, what's your name? Like, I don't know. Like,
so where are you when you're dating, like, currently? Like, where are you looking?
So for me, what I'm looking
Putting you on the
for...
spot.
To be honest, well, it's interesting because even at the gym, like someone approached me and was like, "Hey, you're beautiful. You look great."
Oh, really?
I like
this
that.
week?
Yeah, this week.
Was it cute?
No. But here's the thing. This is where I get into the whole rejection thing because even though the man was not cute, I give him so much. Like he had a lot of strength and courage to really do that. And so I wasn't going to straight up reject him and be like, ew, get out of my face, da da da. Because that's where the message goes like wrong in men's mind. And then they stop doing it. So I'm like, you know what? I'll talk to him. He's a human. Like, he's a normal person. Doesn't mean he's going to, like, get with me. But I'll give him the time and day and be nice and talk to him for a little. So whatever. We had, like, an ab workout. And that was it. But overall, like what I'm looking for personally is a man who is consistent, a man who's great with communication, and also respectful. And when I say something, doesn't try to force it or try to change my mind.
So are you actively looking to date, or what are you looking for?
So for me, I mean, at this point in time, because I feel like time has passed with my past relationship, I wouldn't mind being in another relationship, but I am enjoying the single life. And I'm enjoying seeing and experiencing other people and how they live and how they behave. And if I feel like it's the right person, I'll, you know, settle down. But for now... And then I have Luca, so he's like, you know, he's like my bestie.
Yeah, I think that's good.
I don't want to force anything.
You can't. I would say for me and my life, it's a smooth I think it should be. I would say I am kind of at a crossroads. I haven't talked to anybody in a while. I'm not really looking to talk to anybody, but I am like, I know what I want as far as like long-term goals, but I definitely feel like a little worn out from dating. I feel tired. I'm exhausted. These men are exhausting. These apps are exhausting. Emotionally, I felt exhausted. So I definitely needed just the time to kind of take to myself, build my life in other ways. I'm not quitting. I'm not giving up. I just, you know, I appreciate the alone time, and I really only want to give energy to things that are going to become something serious.
Yeah.
So now when people ask me what I want, like I'll say like I'm looking for a serious relationship, and however they feel. And so, but yeah, I don't know. Like I want to date, but I don't want to date just anybody. So that's why it makes it hard for me to like go on the apps and stuff, because I don't want to have a whole bunch of conversations with people. I don't want to talk to everybody.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, like I don't want to
really
do that.
And I understand you on like a whole level, because it is exhausting. Because you're putting yourself out there. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of effort. You guys have to set up a date, like set up time to get to know somebody. And it's hard when it's like, oh, all this time. Like,
Every time. What?
Like every time, it's like the same result happens. I'm disappointed. This person's not who they said they were, or it just doesn't feel like the chemistry's there.
Right.
And it's like, why am I putting myself in this situation, in this scenario, 100%, like, and getting this.
Alright guys, so unfortunately it got cut a little short because our SD card got full, but we do look forward to seeing you in the next video. So until then, take care.